Imagine a massive Boeing 787 hurtling down a runway, but then just when it should be picking up the speed drops, and then it happens again. The pilots are already past the point where they can safely abort the takeoff, and with just 91 meters of runway left, they have no choice but to go airborne. That is exactly what happened to a Vietnam Airlines Boeing 787 flying from Munich to Hanoi. Flight VN34 took off from Munich airport on August 15 with 271 passengers and 16 crew members on board. But halfway down the runway, investigators say that the aircraft's speed stopped increasing for around 2 seconds. The Boeing 787 then accelerated again and crossed the crucial V1 speed, the point where pilots must commit to taking off. And then came the second scare. The speed dropped again. By then, there was not enough runway left to safely stop the aircraft. So the pilots pushed the engines to maximum thrust. With just around 91 meters of runway remaining, they pulled the nose up and the giant Boeing 787 finally took off, incredibly close to the end of the runway. Videos circulating online appear to show the aircraft accelerating almost until the very end, with dust trailing behind it. But the drama did not end once the aircraft left the ground. Soon after takeoff, cockpit warnings indicated a possible tail strike and low tire pressure. The pilots informed air traffic control immediately and decided to turn back to Munich. The aircraft climbed to around 9,000 feet and began dumping fuel to reduce its weight before landing. It then spent more than an hour circling near the airport. Inside the cabin, the atmosphere reportedly became tense. The captain informed passengers that the aircraft had developed a technical problem. And then came the instruction that no passenger wants to hear: brace position. The aircraft even made low-altitude circuits around the airport so air traffic controllers could visually inspect its landing gear. And after roughly 2 hours in the air, the Boeing 787 finally landed safely back to the Munich airport, but the inspection revealed just how serious the takeoff had been. 4 of the aircraft's 8 main landing gear tires had burst. 3 tires were damaged on the left side and 1 on the right. Investigators also found scrap marks underneath the rear fuselage and damage to the aircraft's outer skin, evidence that the tail had struck the runway during the takeoff. Thankfully, it's a miracle that all 287 people on board were safe, with no reports of injuries or fire. The aircraft, a Boeing 787-9 registered as BN-A867, remains grounded in Munich at this moment. It was also able to taxi away from the runway under its own power, temporarily disrupting airport operations. Now investigators are trying to solve the biggest mystery. Why did the aircraft's speed drop twice during takeoff? Germany's Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation is leading the probe. The aircraft's flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder have been recovered for examination. Vietnam's aviation authorities are assisting the investigation, while Vietnam Airlines is cooperating with Boeing and the aircraft's engine manufacturer.